on world-famous wrestler Eddie Guerrero, whose sudden death shocked millions of dedicated fans of the WWE. Vince McMahon is going to join me live, along with wrestlers JBL and his cousin Chavo Guerrero. Sudden death of a wrestling superstar. 38-year-old Eddie Guerrero, well known in the world of wrestling, was found dead Sunday morning at his Minneapolis hotel. His surprising death has shaken the wrestling community and his millions of loyal fans. Here's MSNBC's Lisa Daniels with a look back at his life and his legacy.
He was a professional wrestling superstar.
From El Paso, Texas, weighing in at 228 pounds, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero was a hero to millions, and as the first Mexican-American champion in the history of the WWE, a superhero to Latinos.
Eddie Guerrero, right to the leg. Los Guerrero successfully defend the tag team titles.
But on Sunday night, the bell tolled for Eddie Guerrero one last time.
Eddie Guerrero has passed away. Eddie was in the prime of his life, 38 years old, in the prime of his career.
At this tribute last night on WWE's Monday Night Raw, powerful, huge men, built like solid rocks, professional wrestlers, broke down in tears, as did their millions of fans upon learning the news that over the weekend, Eddie Guerrero was found dead in his Minneapolis hotel room. He was 38 years old.
It does not appear suspicious. There were no signs of foul play.
Wrestler Chavo Guerrero Jr. is Eddie's nephew. He got the call from hotel security telling him Eddie missed his wake-up call.
I went up to his room and we found him just out. So I didn't think anything of it. I thought, is he all right? What's going on? And pulled him out and I turned him over. I said, okay, something's not right.
According to the WWE's website, initial autopsy reports attribute heart failure to his death. His wife Vicky believes it was from his past, a past of hard exercise and of hard living with drinking and drug abuse. Wrestling was Eddie Guerrero's passion from a young age, and no surprise, he was born into Mexico's first family of professional wrestling. His father was the legendary Gory Guerrero.
And I'd be in the ring and I'd look over, see if he was watching me, and I'd just see him shake his head like this. And I knew I was doing something wrong.
While most families in their neighborhood had swimming pools or playgrounds in their backyards, the Guerreros had a regulation wrestling ring. And from a young age, Eddie was already tag teaming with cousin Chavo Jr.
We got to wrestle in front of people at the age of 9 and 6 years old.
He wrestled while attending the University of New Mexico, receiving an athletic scholarship. In 1987, Eddie turned pro, becoming a star in Mexico and ultimately a main event draw in the U.S.
I wanted to live up to the name. This is really what I want to do.
With his war cry of Latino heat, Guerrero overcame obstacles to reach the top, becoming a WWE champion on 3 occasions, as well as a WWE Tag Team champion that he shared with his nephew Chavo. His final match was fought last Friday night on WWE's Shakedown. Guerrero won.
The winner of this match as a result of a disqualification, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero is survived by his wife Vicky, 3 daughters, and legions of fans around the world.
And I had the pleasure of meeting Eddie Guerrero when I actually went to a WWE match. Clearly it is a tremendous loss in the professional wrestling world and to all the fans of wrestling. Joining me now is World Wrestling Entertainment Chairman Vince McMahon. Vince, when I see that tribute last night, folks who cover wrestling and have been involved in it like you have been for decades, it's really a family. How tough was it for you and how emotional was that tribute for you?
It's always difficult when you have to endure something like that, especially someone who meant so much to so many people as Eddie did. He was beloved by so many fans all over the world. He was a huge superstar, and this is a family atmosphere, and Eddie was a bit of a patriarch, I think, to some of the younger wrestlers, and he just meant so much to so many. It was a very painful experience. I was so proud of all of our men and women, all of our superstars, to be able to put their personal feelings aside and do this special tribute to Eddie.
Yeah, and you could see that they were really touched by him. I mean, this is an amazing man. We talked about his drug abuse and some of the other things, but he overcame them. In fact, he was, 4 years sober. This is a guy who overcame so many hurdles, Vince.
No question. Eddie was very proud of the hurdles that he overcame. He was very proud of his heritage, very proud of his accomplishments, very proud that he had just moved his entire family to Phoenix, Arizona, where he was going to start life all over again. He was so proud, and he should have been. He was an extraordinary human being.
How shocked were you when you found out about his passing, and how did you find out, Vince?
I was in the car on the way to the arena that morning when I got the phone call, and something like that you can't prepare for that. It feels surreal when you first hear the news, and it really doesn't sink in at first. And it was just a shock to everyone because Eddie had overcome his demons. Eddie was on such a positive roll, and it was just shocking beyond belief.
It's amazing, too, and no surprise, because wrestling has such a huge following. You've gotten, I was reading, 50,000 emails from fans. I want to read one of them, and this just sort of captures Eddie, known as sort of Latino heat. And I had the pleasure, as you just heard, of watching him one time in the ring. He really is a great performer. This is from a fan. His name is Jonathan Loom. This was an email that was sent, and he said, after Eddie got the pinfall, the crowd erupted, and Eddie walked back up the rampway with a grin on his face. I got huge goosebumps from that. Why do you think Eddie connected so much with the fans, Vince?
That's tough to say, Rita. I mean, Eddie had an extraordinary charisma, and there was this very special connection, an Eddie Guerrero connection. He had this impish look on his face like no one else. Eddie was, his whole style was different than everyone else. His demeanor, everything about Eddie was unique to Eddie Guerrero. He was an extraordinary performer.
Are you worried what kind of impact it's going to have on the sport, Vince? I want to show, this is a comment from Eddie's wife. They said obviously it was heart issues that caused this. And she said, quote, this is a quote posting on her site. It says, Eddie just worked out like crazy all the time. It made his heart grow bigger and work harder, and the vessels were getting smaller. And that's what caused the heart failure. Are you worried, sort of, the impact it's going to have on the sport? The concern of someone dying so young.
We've had situations like this in the past. I wonder, and again, I'm not a physician, you wonder how much of Eddie's hard life that he lived in the past caught up with him. You wonder again, Eddie was, this is a tough life being a WWE star. There's an extraordinary amount of travel. You have to keep yourself in shape in the gym, and then, the punishment that you take, even though we're entertainment, what we do hurts in the ring, and it takes its toll. And again, I think that all of those factors combined, had an effect on Eddie. If in fact maybe there was something genetic as well, I don't know. I don't think his family's predisposed to anything like this. But again, I'm only speculating now.
What made him such a unique wrestler? What made him such a love of the fans?
It was his connection, Rita. He was gifted athletically. Eddie could do things that most people could not. Eddie had a tremendous desire to perform. He loved to perform. And when he went out there, he wanted to give it everything that he had. When he came back through the curtain, there was nothing left. He gave it all in terms of his performances, the great performers do. And again, his charisma and all of it combined. He had a gift of gab. He was funny. He was, everything about Eddie. It was just so unique to Eddie Guerrero.
It actually says we're looking at some great pictures of him here. And in fact, the guy who's there with him in the ring, JBL, is going to be coming up. Vince, please stick with us because when we come back, we're going to have Guerrero's nephew and that other superstar you just saw there, John Bradshaw Layfield. A lot of people know him as JBL. He's going to be joining me live and direct along with Vince. And also...